Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Capricorn January 2020 horoscope forecast part 2 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is as far as January goes, Mars will be in Scorpio from the 1st until the 3rd. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, the situations with friends and acquaintances, even stepchildren if applicable, may be more contentious and acrimonious than usual. There may be battles that are connected with jealousy and maybe overpowering control. Now, guard against vengeful and vindictive anger and actions during this time. Capricorn, against these people, and also people that you may know in some groups, clubs, and organizations perhaps. Now, the thing about this is also could be very positive period for very transforming energy as far as your future goes. And also, really it could be about a lot of energy into Scorpio-like goals and aspirations, such as astrology, the occult, supernatural, locksmithing, embalming, investigation, forensics, anything that's recycling, transformation, anything that could be Scorpio related. And if you're unattached at this time, Capricorn, you may connect with a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant person, or one that embodies Scorpio traits. It may be for a sexual liaison, it may be somebody that was a friend or an acquaintance and it has escalated into something stronger, or somebody you may have met at some group, club, or organization, or through social networking, social media. Next thing up. Well, Mars will be in Sagittarius as far as January goes from the 3rd until the 31st. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, your energy and vitality and even libido may be a little bit more diminished at this time, more so than usual, Capricorn, since we are talking about Mars and the 12th house energy. There may be some private battles that are associated with the law. It might be over philosophical differences, over religious issues, and 12th house, even spirituality. Now, this is a time too where you're really at this time, if you're unattached at this time, Capricorn, you may connect with a Sagittarius sun, moon, or ascendant person, or one that embodies those traits. And it may be for a sexual liaison, that may be a clandestine affair, something that is done in solitude, seclusion, behind closed doors, so to speak. Could also be a lot of time in terms of energy and vitality injected into Sagittarius things, and it may be when you're kind of like by yourself time, and when in solitude, seclusion. It could be something with the law and philosophy, religion, sports activities. It could be working out vigorously by yourself in solitude, or archery, anything that could be, or something that could be Sagittarius related. But at the same time, this could also be a lot of exuberant and enthusiastic energy, and really expansive energy into helping those less fortunate than yourself, such as the impoverished, the homeless, the oppressed, and the hungry at this time. And it's also very positive energy in terms of dealing with people that may actually be hidden adversaries, people that may be posing as friends, impersonating themselves as friends, and just the power of positive thinking, being able to weed out who is actually who is a hidden adversary and who is truly your friend. So it's the 12th house is hidden adversaries. In some isolated cases, this could be about maybe a sexual partner. It could be driving you figuratively crazy at this time, since we are talking about Mars and the 12th house energy. So anyway, people, next thing up. Well, Jupiter will still be in Capricorn, so the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. As I've spoken about in previous videos, Jupiter can be rather paradoxical, it could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have the tendency to enlarge and expand. Sometimes it can expand and enlarge the waistline, and there could be a little greater propensity for eating you're really eating and putting on weight at this time more so than usual. It could be eating what could be considered traditional foods. We are talking about Capricorn energy. It might be where you're eating conservatively as far as the kind of food you're eating, but you may be putting on a little bit more weight at this time, Capricorn. So just be careful in what you're indulging. But it could also be a very prosperous period for you at this time and very auspicious for Capricorn new beginnings. It could be something like dentistry or accounting or something with information technology, business, politics, the government, anything that could be Capricorn related. Sometimes this could expand and enlarge issues with the physical body, such as something with the knees, the bones, the joints, the hamstrings at this time. Now also too, it might be a time where you come across as a little bit more philosophical, more so than usual at this time, Capricorn. You might have an even more humorous and jocular and jovial on a first impression, but it could be like with this Capricorn kind of this dry sense of humor at this time. So anyway, people, well, the next thing up is Saturn will still be in Capricorn, so the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, Capricorn, you might find yourself taking care of a sickly or debilitated. It could be somebody you knew from your early childhood or even a grandmother in some cases. And it could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, the joints, the hamstrings. And it may be making you feel somewhat despondent and melancholy. Now, when you're talking about Saturn in first house energy, as stated before with Jupiter in first house energy, there could be a proclivity to gain weight. Well, Saturn in the first house, it's interesting, is a little bit of a contradiction here because Saturn in the first house could be about propensity to lose weight. So you might be going through a little bit of a fluctuation at this time as far as maybe losing weight and then, gaining weight. And so it's time to be careful as far as that goes. And it could be a time too where you might be having to take on more responsibility, more so than usual, Capricorn, but it could also be about responsibility to the physical body, and it could even be starting a very disciplined workout routine at this time. And also too, it could be a lot of serious energy in Capricorn new beginnings, such as something like dentistry, business, politics, accounting, information technology, carpentry, anything that could timekeeping, anything that could be Capricorn related at this time. And you may be coming across even a little bit more melancholy, serious and stern, more so than usual on a first impression, more so than usual at this time, Capricorn. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Uranus will still be in Taurus. So the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, Capricorn, you might be dealing with some unusual, stubborn, obstinate behavior from children. It could be lovers as well, people you might be involved with romantically. It could also be a time where you might become involved in Uranus, like things of fun, amusement, and enjoyment, such as astrology, anything esoteric, astronomy, aerospace even could be used. It could be doing something either with model rockets at this time, computers, electronics, innovations. It could also be a time too where you may where it's things that are connected with some investments or things of a speculative nature might be going through some fluctuations, might be somewhat erratic and sporadic at this time. And it could also be that Taurus friendships, they could be Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Taurian traits might figure more prominently in your fun, your amusement, your enjoyment at this time, and things of a speculative nature, investments, in your personal popularity. And your personal popularity may be going through some fluctuations at this time as well. And anyway, it could also be that another way this could manifest and pan out, you might also get involved in some unusual love situations at this time, and might be ones that are very spontaneous, very unpredictable. It could be somebody that might be even a foreigner, someone from another country at this time as well. And anyway, those are some ways at this time that this could manifest and pan out for you at this time, Capricorn. So anyway, And also, you might be dealing with very, children. I mean, if you're involved in a pregnancy at this time, one last thing I would say, if you're involved in a pregnancy, it could indicate it might be either exceptionally early childbirth or something that might be delayed. And I think a lot of this would be predicated and dependent on aspects that are made to points in your chart. I would say something like an adverse aspect to natal Saturn might actually cause it to be a little bit delayed or a little bit longer. But something with Jupiter, maybe like a sextile trine to your Jupiter at this time, might be more favorable in terms of maybe even having it a little bit earlier, more so than usual, and it is in less delay, if there even would be any delay or no delay as far as the child being born. So those are some ways that this could manifest and pan out at this time for you, Capricorn. Now, hold on a moment, people. Well, next thing up is Neptune will still be in Pisces, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, this can manifest in a number of ways. This could be a time for you, Capricorn, where you might be dealing with, you might be dealing with more duplicity and deception in your communications. Communications may be a little bit more ambiguous at this time. This could, in some cases, sadly, this could dissolve and dissipate the memory to some degree. If you're an older person, especially at this time, and depending on aspects that are made, if this is making an adverse aspect to your natal your natal Mercury, it could even increase the propensity for that. And if you're an older person, especially, could also be where you might be involved in some very convoluted short journeys at this time, and you might feel like, at this time, siblings, cousins, neighbors may be a little bit more nebulous and unclear, more so than usual, and a little bit more ambiguous, they could be more deceptive and duplicitous. But this could be very good and auspicious, perhaps for Neptunian type writings. It could be writing something connected with poetry, dancing, writing about photography, something with fantasy and fiction, something with chemistry, writing about drugs. It could be also writing about the metaphysical, which includes astrology or even spirituality at this time. And it could also be a time where you're simply a little bit more idealistic in terms of your way of thinking at this time, but your thinking may be a little bit more nebulous and unclear. And also be very careful in the fine print as far as documents go in written materials. If you have anything you need to sign or anything, just make sure you're very discerning. You're looking very carefully and scrutinizing the fine print at this time. And wherever Neptune is in astrology, it can show that proclivity to times to be a little bit more lethargic and more about daydreaming and fantasizing as opposed to taking action. Now, if this is making, especially if this is making an adverse aspect to your natal Mars, Sun, or your Ascendant, it can increase that propensity for that as far as third house matters go. And it could also be about dealing with chemical or gas related issues with your vehicle, because that is connected with short journeys or very nebulous problems with your car, which you might have a hard time trying to decipher at this time. Last but not least, Pluto will be in Capricorn still, so the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, this could be a very transforming period for the physical body. You might be involved in some Plutonian type new beginnings, such as something with transformation, astrology, the occult, supernatural, locksmithing, surgery. And a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but I'm going to anyway. Some cases this can manifest in the actual literal death of somebody you knew from your early childhood or a grandmother even.